On TV, there's a news report talking about a new virus that popped up in Africa called the T virus, and this sickness makes people super violent and aggressive toward anyone nearby. Hearing this, a guy gets worried about the news, but his buddy tells him it's normal stuff, and he shouldn't sweat it, and says that since it's already on TV, they probably already have a vaccine. At that moment, our protagonist Xiaoyu realizes he traveled back in time to before everything went down. He's a simple warehouse worker, an orphan, no car, no house, just an average Joe like us. So he grabs his phone and remembers that the first outbreak was exactly in his city. He knows the zombies show up today, but the real outbreak only happens in 10 days, so he has time until then. Desperate, he decides he's gonna buy stuff and hide, but soon changes his mind, realizing that won't solve the problem. That's because the zombies are gonna evolve and eventually even be able to swim, so running wouldn't help, because due to the constant evolution of the zombies, survivors could never stay put and had to migrate all the time. At that moment, he starts freaking out and asks himself if he'll have to run from zombies all over again. But out of nowhere, our beloved system appears and starts connecting with our protagonist. The screen then says that to activate the system, he needs to defeat a zombie first. With that in mind, our boy doesn't waste any time and starts running while remembering that 2 people are going to transform today at Walmart. And the first transformation is going to be in the warehouse on the 5th floor. Arriving at the hallway, he doesn't think twice and smashes the emergency glass and grabs a fire axe to defend himself from what's coming. Just then, he hears a girl screaming for help and telling manager Liu to stay back. Xiaoyu then gets ready because he remembers the warehouse manager was the first victim, and inside a pink-haired girl is running desperately from the manager who turned into a zombie. But in the middle of the scramble, the poor girl ends up tripping, and this leaves her in a pretty complicated situation since the zombie was getting close to take a bite. The creature then lunges at her, and she panics and screams that she doesn't want to check out early just yet. But before anything happens, Xiaoyu lands a full axe swing right on the zombie's head, saving the girl at the very last second, and defeating the creature with a single hit. Seeing the protagonist, the girl gets surprised because apparently she knows him. After everything, our protagonist was completely exhausted, and after catching his breath, he extends a hand to the girl and tells Xiaoran to get up off the floor. She holds his hand and says she was really scared of what happened, and with the first creature defeated, our protagonist's system finally activates. It explains that to form a team, our hero needs to recruit girls with a really high score. Right then, he realizes Xiaoran is the perfect candidate for his team. With that in mind, our hero asks for the girl's hand one more time. The two then hold hands to activate the system, and finally, he activates the authority to form his team. The system analyzes Ran and shows that her overall score is 95, and with that score, she manages to get into our protagonist's team of goddesses. As a reward for getting a new member, all his attributes were increased by 2 times. Xiaoyu gets pretty hyped with this sudden power boost, but amidst the happiness, he squeezes the girl's hand too hard, and she tells him to let go because it hurts. Then the system notifies that all members gained 1 attribute point and says everyone got a storage space of 20 cubic meters, and Xiaoran has a professional skill that allows her to create a space of 1 million cubic meters at will to store supplies, and since he can share skills, now they have 2 million cubic meters of storage. With all that power in hand, our protagonist looks at the warehouse full of supplies. On the shelves there were clothes, soaps, and various other things, besides a lot of food and toothpaste for them to survive for a good while. Xiaoyu then realizes he can empty the entire warehouse, but he goes further and thinks he can take supplies from the whole city. Seeing his face, Xiaoran asks if he's okay, and he says he was just thinking about something good. She then thanks him for saving her life, and in the meantime, the system appears for her. A message says that if she gets kicked out or if the captain leaves, she loses her powers. Seeing the screen in front of her, she doesn't understand what that is. Surprised, Xiaoyu asks if she can also see the system, and she says she felt something different when she held his hand. She then asks for an explanation and says she's a little scared of all this. Xiaoyu explains that he was the one who granted that power to her, and that actually, this is a benefit for both of them. He shows the screen and says she is the first goddess he hired. Seeing this, the girl gets pretty shocked and finds it all unbelievable. After explaining everything, he asks her to use the spatial power and help him empty the warehouse, while thinking the police will be busy with the zombies and won't have time to investigate robberies. Hearing this, Xiaoran is surprised and asks if they are really going to steal. Xiaoyu replies that he won't force her to do anything and can kick her off the team if she wants. Besides, more zombies will appear and civilization is about to collapse, and to survive they need to stock up on as many supplies as they can, and asks if she prefers to give everything away for free and put herself in danger or prepare now. The girl gets desperate because she doesn't know what decision to make, but in the middle of the conversation, they hear a scream coming from outside. The two then look outside to see what was happening. There they see a zombie attacking a woman who was screaming desperately desperately. Some guys try to pull the creature off the woman, wondering if that guy went crazy. Xiaoran is in shock realizing that was a real zombie. And at that moment, she understands that everything our hero said was true. Determined, she turns to the protagonist and says she believes him now. And he says that's the right decision. Now with everything settled, our hero says it's time to start grabbing supplies, and the girl agrees. Without wasting time, he goes to the power box and destroys it with his axe. He thinks it's better to turn off the cameras so no one can figure out what they did there. Then Xiaoran asks our boy what they should take first, and he points to the food and says priority is securing the food supply. With that in mind, he puts his hand on one of the boxes and uses his collection power. A blue portal then opens in front of them and starts sucking in the box of food, and in the blink of an eye the box simply disappears completely. Xiaoran is impressed and asks how to collect, and he explains she just has to think about storing it. Understanding how it works, she runs excitedly to test her new skill. She was happy because before it took forever to count everything, and now she did it in an instant. And after using her skill, she says she didn't expect them to grab everything so fast, and that it was amazing. Xiaoyu then calls her to go ahead and grab instant noodles and dried meat. A short time later, they had already emptied almost all the food shelves in the warehouse, but the girl warns that the skill drains mental energy and they might burn out before taking everything. Our hero agrees with her and says they need to prioritize what's most important. He then points to the boxes of salt as an example of what they should take first. He thinks salt is worth gold in the apocalypse because without it, people get very weak, but suddenly an entire shelf gets sucked into a giant purple portal. Our boy gets surprised by that and wonders what just happened. The girl then explains she tried to take the whole shelf at once and it actually worked. Xiaoyu gets happy and praises Xiaoran for her intelligence in figuring that out, and says to empty the place in 10 minutes because they need to go to another location. But before that he asks if she got scared again, but the girl denies it and says she doesn't feel fear when she's with him, and says that actually all that is very exciting. With that, they split up to grab the rest of the stuff while he goes after luxury items. Then the two start using the power to collect several shelves at once, and in a few seconds they manage to completely empty the whole warehouse. After the hard work, the two sit on the floor completely exhausted, but the girl shows a key and says the freezer in the back is still left. Our hero then says that's to be expected from the warehouse manager and tells them to rest first. The two then sit down to rest a bit before continuing. While resting, Xiaoran asks if he's going to take her along when the apocalypse starts. Our boy then flicks her forehead and says of course he's going to take his first goddess. Grateful, she says she'll listen to everything he says and will do anything he asks. A while later, they go to the cold storage area of the warehouse. Inside, the two feel very cold, and our hero regrets not grabbing winter clothes earlier. But out of nowhere, an alarm starts ringing asking everyone to leave the mall. And the notice said not to go to the second floor and to use the emergency exits. The girl gets worried and asks the protagonist what they should do now. He then grabs her hand and tells her not to worry because they are going through the second floor. While running, he thinks there are only 2 transformations today and one of them is on the second floor. And since zombies don't have the ability to infect yet, there's only one zombie on the second floor. On the stairs, people run, desperately screaming about a psycho on the second floor who already got 3 people. A guy warns them not to go down because said psycho is at the elevator entrance blocking the way. Seeing the danger, our hero tells Xiaoran to stay very close to him so she doesn't get lost in the crowd. He stays focused on his goal. The girl then agrees with him and continues following him. With that, the two push forward through the crowd while our boy tells her to be careful. Arriving on the second floor, they come across a zombie attacking a person while others run. The creature was devouring a poor guy who couldn't get away in time. Our hero thinks he doesn't need to worry because the most important thing is getting maximum supplies. But because of the crowd, the emergency exit was completely blocked and people were pushing each other. Seeing the situation, he says they can't get through there and need another way. So he doesn't think twice and runs toward the window, and with a very strong kick, he breaks the glass into several pieces. And with zero fear, our protagonist jumps from the second floor to escape them all. Our hero then manages to land on the ground without a single scratch. He then yells to the girl in the window to jump and says he'll catch her. After thinking a bit, Xiaoran works up the courage to do what he asked, and throws herself from the second floor without thinking twice. Our protagonist then manages to catch the girl in his arms without any difficulty. He wonders if she's so light because of the system enhancement. The lady thanks him for the help, and our hero says it was nothing while thinking she's quite soft. At that moment, the police finally arrive at the scene to handle the situation. The officers get out of the cars with weapons in hand ready to enter the mall, and with a megaphone megaphone. One of them yells for everyone to evacuate the mall immediately. Seeing this, our boy says they need to hurry because the city will be closed down soon. He then says their next destination is the Lianhui supermarket, and some time later, the two arrive at the warehouse of said supermarket. But the place was already empty, and Xiao Yu explains that the real warehouse is in the suburbs. In the streets, the army orders all citizens to return to their homes and not stay on the street. A soldier sees the two and yells for them to go home now. The girl asks Xiao Yu what they will do now and if they are still going to another supermarket, but our hero says that's no longer an option because the police and army are everywhere. He then suggests they rest for now and recover mental energy to act at night. Xiao Ran says she's going home, but our protagonist stops her saying she's staying with him. He explains that the city is going to be locked down, and if she goes home, she won't be able to leave anymore. Worried, she asks where they will stay since they'll be kicked out if they sleep on the street. Our boy says the best option is to go to the outskirts of the city because it's easier to escape, and with a plan in mind, he decides they are going to the Jenu Hotel. Surprised, she asks if he's talking about the hotel that sits on an artificial island. He then confirms and says that since there's only one bridge, they will put a checkpoint there, but he explains the lake is huge, and at night they can cross by boat. Xiaoyu then says for them to go fast before public transport stops running. Meanwhile, at City Hall, some important officials were having a meeting about the current situation. One of them says the situation is serious because in 2 hours there were 100 incidents and 324 deaths. He continues saying there are things he can't speak about directly but that everyone has heard rumors, and reveals that half a month ago the city already had some biting incidents with symptoms similar to the T virus. The official then concludes that the virus has already mutated and the entire city will be locked down. With the order given, all departments start acting immediately to contain the situation. Meanwhile, on a highway, a red car speeds at high velocity. A blue-haired woman asks the driver to slow down because they aren't in the United States, but the guy just ignores her warning and keeps accelerating without caring. The woman then complains about work and says she has had to put up with that spoiled hair for a month. She thinks he is an incompetent guy who spends the day partying and still tries to hit on her, and to make matters worse, they got the news about the zombie attacks and the whole city is going to be locked down. She then warns that it's dangerous out there, and they need to return to the hotel immediately. With a malicious smile, he says the timing is perfect because the special medicine he imported has arrived. The guy then makes a sharp turn on the road, but suddenly he starts feeling a weird itch all over his body and slams on the brakes. The car then stops in the middle of the road. The woman asks Charlie what was happening to him. He starts scratching his own face and complains the itching is only getting worse. Suddenly the guy starts bleeding from his eyes and mouth while screaming in pain. The lady gets terrified and asks what is happening to him. Charlie then turns to her and growls. Apparently he was turning into a zombie. Seeing the situation, she doesn't think twice and gets out of the car as fast as she can, and realizes Charlie transformed into one of those zombies she saw on the news. To manage to run faster, she takes off the heels that were hindering her escape. The zombie then gets out of the car and starts running after the woman down the empty road. But in the middle of the sprint, the poor thing ends up tripping and falling hard on the ground. To make matters worse, she sprains her ankle in the fall and can't get up. Even in a lot of pain, she tries to stand up and says she can't give up now, but in that moment of despair, she sees two people on a motorcycle approaching in the distance, and the people on the bike were exactly our protagonist and Xiao Ran. Seeing them, the blue-haired lady screams desperately for help. Our hero hears the plea and realizes someone is in danger nearby. He then warns Xiao Ran to be careful because he's going to save the woman. Without wasting a second, our boy throttles his bike full speed and heads at high velocity in her direction for the rescue. He then activates his dimensional power and grabs his axe. Meanwhile, the zombie leaps toward the defenseless woman on the ground. She screams in fear seeing the creature about to attack her, but before the worst happens, our protagonist appears and hits the zombie with an axe chop, and right after stops the bike with a drift. The creature's body then falls lifeless on the asphalt. After everything, he finds it weird the virus is spreading so fast. He remembers the zombie transformation has 3 stages, and the first one makes victims violent, and in the final stage they become full zombies that devour their victims to survive. Our hero realizes the virus appeared 5 days early and wonders if his return caused this. He then approaches to see if the blue-haired girl is okay. Xiao Ran offers water to the girl, who thanks her and says she's already feeling much better. The woman then thanks our protagonist for saving her life, and he says it was no big deal. Next, she introduces herself and says her name is Han Kexon. Our boy is impressed by her beauty and thinks she is gorgeous like a goddess. Curious, he asks what she does for a living, already thinking about his system's standards. Han Kexon replies that she works as an executive secretary. Hearing that, Xiao Yu gets excited excited because she is the perfect candidate for his team. He then says he needs to touch her for a moment and asks her not to move. Our protagonist takes her hand, and the system starts analyzing the new candidate. The analysis is a success, and Han Kexin joins the team with the reward of doubling attributes. Our hero celebrates a lot because today he is incredibly lucky. He thinks he didn't expect to recruit 2 members so fast for his goddess team. Our hero then opens the team info to see the details of the new member. With one more upgrade, his attributes were quadrupled, which is great for the start of the apocalypse. Han Kexin is shocked seeing the system screens and not understanding what is happening. Xiao Yu then asks Xiao Ran to explain everything to the new member, and she accepts the mission. While they talk, our protagonist realizes skills are linked to the profession. The system then shows that mental charm can psychically control targets. Our hero gets excited because with this skill he no longer needs to fear the city blockade. After hearing the whole explanation, Han Kexin is speechless and finds it all unbelievable. She then gets up from the ground and says that from now on she is one of his team members and will cooperate. At that moment, a government warning orders all citizens to return home immediately. Xiao Yu then suggests they get 2 rooms at the hotel to rest and act at night. Han Kexin advises that Charlie booked a presidential suite and now they can take it. Our protagonist is happy with the news, and Xiao Ran celebrates that she's going to stay in a fancy suit. Han Kexin says the suit card is in the car and runs to get it. She then starts searching inside her former boss's red convertible. She then realizes something. The car keys are still in the ignition. Han Kexin then starts the car and accelerates toward our hero and Xiao Ran. With a move worthy of a movie, she stops the car with a drift right in front of them. The car door opens with a click. She then calls the captain and Xiao Ran to get in the car and go straight to the hotel. Our protagonist and Xiao Ran are impressed with her driving skill. With everyone on board, they speed down the road toward their destination. A short time later, they finally arrive at the luxurious Golden Lake Hotel. Entering the presidential suite, their jaws drop at the size and luxury of the place. Xiao Yu tells the girls they can stay in the main bedroom, and he'll sleep in the guest room. Han Kexin then offers them water and says she'll take care of everything with the hotel. Our hero thanks her and asks her to wake him up at nightfall because he needs to rest. Han Kexin then hands a glass of water to Xiao Ran, who thanks her for the kindness. And after a while, night finally arrives and the moon illuminates the hotel. Han Kexin then goes to our protagonist's room to wake him up. Still sleepy, our hero opens his eyes without fully understanding what's going on. She tells him to get up and eat because Xiao Ran is already awake waiting. Xiao Yu then gets up and goes to the living room where the 2 girls await him. He sits on the sofa and sees they prepared instant noodles for him. The dish looked delicious with various ingredients and was still steaming. Han Kexin says the city is under martial law and that's why hotel conditions are limited. Our boy says it's fine and thanks the 2 for the hard work. 10 minutes later, the trio leaves the hotel to proceed with their plan. Outside, Xiao Ran notices the hotel bridge has been totally blocked, but Xiao Yu tells them not to worry and just follow him, and on the way, they encounter several armed soldiers blocking the passage. A guard then stops the trio and orders them to return immediately to the hotel. Our hero then says he is an envoy from the high command and needs to leave for an important mission. The soldier is then affected by the charm skill our protagonist had gained. He then turns to the other guards and orders them to let the trio pass as they are high command leaders. With the passage cleared, they cross the blockade without any problem. A soldier asks about the trio's leadership level, and his partner tells him to shut up. Back in the car, they speed down the road toward their next objective of the night. Xiao Ran asks surprised when they became envoys of the high command. Our protagonist says he'll explain later and asks to keep it a secret for now. Han Kexin looks at the GPS and asks if they are going to the slaughterhouse. He confirms and says fresh meat is rare in the apocalypse and doesn't spoil in the spatial storage. On the way, they pass an army tank but aren't stopped. Our boy realizes they must be on an urgent mission not to stop them. They finally arrive at Xing Xing Slaughterhouse, the biggest in the southern city, but they are stopped by security guards saying the place has been taken over by the military. Our hero then prepares to use his mind control skill once more. The guard yells for them to state their business and orders them to leave if they don't have permission. Suddenly, one of the security guards freezes, with eyes over staring at nothing. He then turns and grabs his partner's face, who doesn't understand the situation. The guard blushes and asks what he's doing with that love-struck face. But out of nowhere, the controlled security guard headbutts his colleague hard on the nose. The poor guy falls to the ground passed out with a bleeding nose from the hit, and both fall to the ground unconscious. The other guards wonder if they turned into zombies, but one of them says no. But when one of them was gonna help, he also freezes midway, and without thinking twice, he headbutts the guard standing next to him, and in a few seconds, all the guards were passed out on the ground. The trio then observes the scene with all security guards knocked out. Xiao Ran gets confused and asks what exactly just happened there. Our protagonist then praises Han Kexin for the great work with the guards. She thanks him for the compliment and smiles happily for helping the captain. But suddenly more security guards appear to see what was happening there. They yell and ask who they are and what they are doing at the slaughterhouse. Seeing the situation, Han Kexin uses her skill and controls the two guards, and under her control the two start fighting. In a few seconds the two were already passed out on the ground with no chance to fight back. All this was the work of Han Kexin's incredible mental charm skill. She then says that from now on the captain can leave these things to her. With all guards defeated, our hero calls the girls to enter. The trio then enters the slaughterhouse to finally grab the meat supplies. Inside, Xiaoran points excitedly to the cold storage door, and without wasting time she takes off running, but he stops her and reminds her they need to grab winter clothes first. Our boy then asks Kexin to stay on watch outside the cold storage. After equipping themselves with winter clothes, they enter the freezing place. Inside they find a heap of meat, and Xiaoran yells that they are rich. Our hero says this is nothing, and that they will raid at least 8 slaughterhouses today. Excited, he calls Xiaoran to start, and she can hardly wait to grab more meat. The girl then starts using her skill and taking all the pieces of meat in the place, and she already imagines all the delicious dishes she'll be able to make with all that meat. In the other room, they find several jars of spices on a shelf. Our protagonist then tells her to rest a bit because there's still beef in the back. Outside, he asks Kexin if anything happened, and she guarantees everything is fine. He thinks that with her attributes and mental charm skill, nothing bad will happen. But suddenly, a zombie appears behind them without them noticing. The creature then lets out a scary scream and prepares to attack. Our hero recognizes the zombie as one of the guards from before and warns Kexin to watch out. The zombie then leaps toward them. Seeing the situation, Han Kexin activates her mental charm skill, and with a simple command, she makes the zombie stop completely in mid-air. The controlled zombie then starts looking around, not understanding what is happening. Under Han Kexin's control, the zombie approaches a cleaver sitting on the table. He then grabs the weapon. The creature then raises the cleaver and prepares to attack itself. And without hesitating, the zombie prepares to deliver the final blow. He then buries the cleaver forcefully right in the middle of his own forehead. The creature then falls to the ground lifeless after taking itself out, and the zombie stays there on the floor with the weapon stuck in its head. Our protagonist gets worried about the possibility of Han Kexin controlling him too, but he reassures himself, remembering that if he leaves, everyone loses their powers. Meanwhile, Xiaoran uses her power to store our hero's axe. Han Kexin is impressed with the convenience of her friend's spatial storage. Our boy then calls Han Kexin to talk for a moment. She approaches and asks what the problem is, and what the captain desires. Our protagonist then makes a very strange and unusual request to her. He asks her to use the mental charm and try to control him. Han Kexin warns that he asked for it and not to blame her later. She then activates her skill, and her eyes glow with an intense purple light. Our protagonist is hit by the power and feels his mind being invaded. Suddenly he finds himself in a totally different and unknown mental space. There he can see himself being watched by a greater force, and the giant image of Han Kexin appears in front of him, ready to give an order. She then commands our hero to jump immediately. But even under her control, our protagonist doesn't move and stays still. Han Kexin is surprised seeing her skill didn't work on him. Our hero then smiles and feels relieved to have confirmed his suspicions. He explains that since his attributes were amplified, she can't control him. After the test, he calls Xiaoran to continue grabbing the beef. Now at night, the trio continues their mission of collecting supplies through the city. They plan to visit almost 10 slaughterhouses of various sizes that night, but suddenly they are surrounded by police officers yelling for them to put their hands up. The officer yells for them to raise their hands or he will shoot without hesitation. He then asks if they have accomplices and orders them to call them out immediately. Our hero tells him to relax because they are also there on business. He then activates his mental charm skill, and his eyes glow intensely. The officer becomes completely hypnotized, and our protagonist starts explaining they received a report about a bizarre robbery at the slaughterhouse, and says the guards passed out when they saw them and couldn't interrogate them. The controlled officer is shocked to learn the cold storage was looted. Our protagonist then says he already has some leads, but the officer isn't cleared to know. With the perfect excuse, the trio says goodbye to the officers and goes on their way. They get in the car and leave the location, leaving the guards behind. The officer then grabs the radio and reports the slaughterhouse was invaded. With the plan working, they speed down the road searching for more supplies. Xiaoran celebrates that now they can raid places freely. The trio then arrives at Dahong's slaughterhouse ready to grab more meat. After emptying one more slaughterhouse, they leave for the next location, and so they continue all night going from one slaughterhouse to another. At Dahong, they managed to grab 45 tons of pork. At Sing Sing, it was 15 tons of beef for the stock, and to finish, at Wanshun they grabbed another 6 tons of mutton. At the end of the night, they had a giant mountain of meat stored in the spatial warehouse. Xiao Ran calculates they collected 550 tons of pork, 120 of beef, and 45 of mutton. Our hero says they are going to recruit more people, and that amount of meat isn't enough yet, and says they need to go back to rest and raid the frozen workshops later. Back at the hotel, the trio prepares to relax after a very hectic night. Our protagonist then takes a shower to wash off the body fatigue. As soon as he gets out of the shower, Xiao Ran calls him to eat some frozen buns, and in the living room, the two girls wait for him with food ready and smelling good. Our hero is surprised to see the two dressed only in bathrobes. He then remembers he needs to maintain his best physical condition to open the spatial warehouse. Our hero then tries to resist temptation while the girls call him to eat. Little do they know he's craving a different kind of snack. The next day, City S was already plunged into ever-increasing chaos. At the command center, news about the virus's advance wouldn't stop coming. Reports informed about infected people in all parts of the city spreading rapidly. An official laments that the T virus mutated and can now resurrect the dead. Another asks if reinforcements from City H have arrived to help, but he is informed that City H also has virus variants and the reinforcements turned back. Besides that, they report on the bizarre theft of 700 tons of meat from 10 slaughterhouses. The furious governor orders them to show him the security camera footage, and he wonders where all that meat went and why the guards behaved strangely. Curious, he asks about the background of the 3 special agents who appeared. The governor is surprised to learn that not even he has access to that information. He then orders them to find out where the 3 agents are staying in the city, and prepares to go see them personally but is notified about an emergency meeting. He then changes his mind and orders them to interrogate the guards with strange behavior first, but the report informs that most guards took themselves out and only 3 survived. The governor clenches his fist tightly, showing his frustration with the situation, and furious, he wonders what kind of mess the city has gotten into. Meanwhile, at the luxury hotel, life seemed much calmer. Our protagonist wakes up and realizes he slept from 5 in the morning until 3 in the afternoon. He then stretches and decides he needs to leave soon to get more supplies. Our hero then goes to the room where the 2 girls were sleeping together. The 2 were in a deep sleep, hugged and covered by a sheet. Our boy then grabs the sheet to wake the 2 sleepyheads, and with a pull, he yanks the sheet off them and yells for them to wake up. But seeing the 2 lying there, he blushes and stammers, not knowing what to say. Hankexin then wakes up and rubs her eyes, still sleepy, and she asks the captain what time it is without realizing the situation. Xiao Ran also wakes up and wonders how morning came so fast. Suddenly, the pink-haired girl trips and falls on top of her friend. Hankexin then squeezes her friend's cheeks and yells for her to wake up already. Embarrassed, our hero orders the 2 to get up and says he's going to get ready first. A while later, the trio was in the living room when suddenly the doorbell rings. Our protagonist looks at the door wondering who it could be at that hour. Hankexin then offers to go check who is knocking on the door. She looks through the peephole to see who it is before opening, and on the other side, she sees 3 men in suits and asks if she should open the door. Our boy then tells her to open it because they need to meet with them. Hankexin then opens the door and comes face to face with the 3 men. One of them introduces himself as the governor and says he would like to meet the special agents. Our hero then invites the governor to come in and talk with them, and after a while, everyone was sitting in the presidential suite's living room. The protagonist offers them tea before starting the conversation. He then asks if our protagonist is the so-called special agent and what he should call him, and with a more serious tone, he asks who our hero's superiors are. Our hero realizes the governor is suspicious and decides to end his doubts. He then shows a document for the governor to take a look at, and without anyone noticing, he activates his mental charms skill. The governor gets hypnotized by our protagonist's glowing eyes, and on the document, he sees a national security special agent ID. Our boy asks if he still has any doubts about his identity. The governor then stands up and bows to apologize, and ashamed, he says his identity is confidential and asks forgiveness for his rudeness. The girls giggle quietly and think our hero's trick always works. With the situation resolved, our protagonist says now there are no more worries. He then asks for a special pass to continue investigating the robbery at the slaughterhouse. With the pass, they will be able to collect supplies during the day without problems. The governor agrees and tells the special agent to wait a moment. Back in the car, the trio speeds through the city in search of more resources, and our hero gets happy because now supply collection just got way easier. On the road, they notice there are more soldiers patrolling the streets. Our hero then concludes the virus mutation is accelerating and the city will fall. In another location, 2 soldiers guard the entrance of a warehouse. Suddenly, the 2 freeze in place with glowing eyes, and under mental control, they start shooting everywhere. The security cameras at the location are completely destroyed by the shots. Other guards appear and try to stop the controlled soldiers from shooting, but it doesn't seem to work very well, and the controlled soldiers start beating their companions, knocking out everyone who tried to stop them, and to finish, the other controlled soldier punches another guard in the chain, and finally the controlled soldiers start hitting each other and end up being knocked out. After that, our protagonist approaches and says the work there is done. Our hero then orders Xiao Ran to store the 3 trucks and asks Kexin to grab the weapons. He picks up one of the guns from the passed out guards and thinks that even with bad aim, having a gun gives more confidence. He then hands one of the guns to Xiao Ran and says he will teach her how to use it. But suddenly some people run out of the warehouse screaming for help. They scream desperately that there are zombies inside, and they already got 2 people. Kexin calls our protagonist worried about the situation. He then orders the 2 to follow him and runs into the warehouse. Inside they see several people running and others already fallen on the ground. The trio is shocked seeing the chaos that ensued inside the place, and one of the survivors yells not to get close because there are zombies everywhere. Our hero explains it's the T virus infection that resurrects the dead. He then grabs his axe and charges at the zombies together with the girls, and with a precise hit he lands one right on a zombie's head, and thinks they can't use skills all the time because they drain a lot of energy. Our hero tries to pull the axe from the zombie's head, but it gets stuck. Surprised, he wonders how the axe managed to get stuck like that, but suddenly another zombie appears and charges at him without giving time to react. Our protagonist then dodges the attack and prepares for the counter-attack, and with a series of kicks he knocks down several zombies at once. Without the axe, he grabs the gun he took from the guards and prepares to shoot. Our hero then puts on sunglasses to complete the look, and without hesitating he starts shooting the zombies approaching. The bullets hit the creatures dead on, and they fall one by one. With a victorious smile, he says good firepower is the best option. Kexin says she still prefers making zombies take themselves out. Our protagonist then steps on the zombie's head and pulls his axe back. With the area clear, he orders the girls to hurry to move the supplies, and after a long night of work, the trio finally returns to rest. Xiao Ran calculates they collected a total of 8,800 tons of supplies. Our hero observes the city and reflects on the future awaiting them. He knows City S won't hold out much longer, and remembers that in his past life, the city fell on the 6th day of the apocalypse. But he realizes that after the city falls, the government will flee with many supplies. From the sky, several military planes arrive to reinforce the city, and from them, several soldiers parachute down to help with the evacuation. But our hero knows this will only delay the inevitable and won't solve the problem. He then calls the girls and says it's time to go to the next place. Already at night, the full moon lights their path through the city, and on the road, they find an armored vehicle stopped in the middle of the way. Our protagonist then orders Kexin to stop the car next to the vehicle. She obeys and stops the convertible right next to the armored car. Our boy then gets out of the car to investigate what happened there, and he notices there are blood stains on the side of the vehicle, and concludes someone turned zombie inside and probably everyone got infected. Xiao Ran gets excited and suggests they take the vehicle since no one else wants it. Our hero realizes the armored car can serve as a mobile fortress in the apocalypse, and without thinking twice, he uses his skill and collects the armored vehicle. Xiao Ran complains why he collected the vehicle before her, and he promises next time he'll let her collect the vehicle. Meanwhile, at the command center, the death toll wouldn't stop rising. The governor despairs seeing the city is about to fall, and he regrets not knowing who in the city will turn into a zombie, or when an official informs that aerial reinforcements have arrived to help with the situation. The governor asks how many soldiers arrived and is disappointed with the number. He knows 1,000 soldiers aren't enough to turn the tide. Another official warns that T-virus mutants are appearing all over the country. The governor then realizes the T-virus cannot be controlled and they need to prepare. He decides to hold out for one more day and plans to secure the remaining supplies, but one of his men asks what they will do with the 800,000 citizens. The governor says if they need to evacuate, the entire country will have lost control. He then orders his man to bring his family and leave a helicopter on standby. The official then withdraws to fulfill his superior's orders, but suddenly he trips and falls to the floor for no apparent reason. And next, he starts twitching and screaming in pain. The governor gets startled and asks what is happening to him. The man then rips his shirt and starts transforming into a creature. Terrified, the governor screams for help, calling the guards in the room. The guards run in and find the governor cornered against the wall, and in front of him, the officer turned zombie prepares to attack. The creature lets out a scary roar showing its sharp teeth. Without thinking twice, the governor screams for the guards to open fire. The 2 guards then point their weapons at the zombie, and with a burst of shots, they drop the creature to the floor. The zombie's body then falls lifeless after being gunned down by the guards. The governor orders the guards to take the body far away from there. The two guards then drag the zombie's body out of the room, and the governor thinks how terrifying it is that anyone can turn into a monster. Meanwhile, in another building in the city, life goes on normally. The phone of a girl named Anna rings with a call from her father. She gets worried because she has called several times and no one answered. Suddenly, the shadow of a person appears at her bedroom door. Anna gets startled and recognizes the silhouette as her friend Wang Shu. The shadow then starts twitching and groaning in pain, and suddenly the friend appears in the doorway with red eyes and transformed into a zombie. Anna is terrified by the scene and backs away to protect herself. She realizes her friend has been infected, and if she gets bitten, she'll turn zombie too. Desperate, she thinks of fleeing, but the main door is next to the bathroom. She then looks at the window as her only escape route, but realizes she is on the 30th floor and jumping would be the end for her. Not knowing what to do, Anna panics and wonders how she will escape. She then hears a noise and sees her friend's shadow approaching the door. The zombie then starts opening the door, slowly revealing her green body. Anna is terrified, realizing the creature is about to enter the room. Desperate, she decides she needs to hide as fast as possible. She then looks at the wardrobe as her only hiding option, and without thinking twice, she runs and hides inside the closet. The zombie then enters the room and starts walking around, and she walks back and forth as if looking for something. The creature then stops in front of the closet and lets out a low growl. Anna is trembling with fear and tries not to make any noise so she isn't discovered. She then decides she needs to call the police and ask for help, but amidst the panic, she remembers she left her phone on the couch, and with the zombie standing in front of the closet, she wonders if she'll die in there. Meanwhile, in the building's parking garage, life seemed to follow normally. Our hero wakes up and realizes it's already 7 in the evening and feels much better. He then decides it's time to move and continue supply collection, but next to him, he sees Xiao Ran sleeping and talking about food in her dreams. He thinks her mental strength is lower and decides to let her sleep a bit more. And beside her, Hankexen was also resting after a long day, but suddenly a noise catches our protagonist's attention in the parking garage. He warns Kexen that something is happening and asks her to look after Xiao Ran, and without wasting time, he runs toward the noise to investigate. There he finds a woman being surrounded by a horde of zombies. The woman screams in terror as the zombies grab her and start attacking. Our hero is shocked by the scene and the number of zombies at the location. He realizes there are already zombie hordes and the city will fall soon. The woman begs them to eliminate her and end her suffering, and promises she will become a ghost to protect them later. Our protagonist then draws his weapon and prepares to end that cruelty. The woman thanks our hero with her last strength before passing away, and with a burst of shots he ends her suffering and that of the surrounding zombies. The girls hear the shots and call for the captain, worried about the situation. They are shocked seeing our hero running from a zombie horde. He then jumps on top of the car to escape the hungry creatures. The zombies let out a scary roar and prepare to attack the car. Xiao Ran screams in fear seeing the creatures approaching her. Our protagonist then delivers a spinning kick and hits several zombies at once. With a single hit he manages to rip the heads off all of them, and the zombie heads fly through the air after the powerful attack. The trio then prepares to flee that zombie-infested place. Our hero sighs relieved and says good thing his attributes were enhanced. Hankexen asks what happened, and he assures her everything is fine now. He then orders them to leave because time is running out, and the trio speeds through the night searching for more supplies and a safe place. The trio speeds through the burning city while fleeing zombies. Our hero checks the GPS and says the situation is getting increasingly serious. He then warns the girls not to spend all their mental energy, and tells them to rest immediately if they feel tired. After a while, they leave the city and hit the road. Our protagonist calculates they managed to grab over 14,000 tons of meat. He realizes the harvest was good, but everyone is exhausted after 15 hours. Suddenly, they see an explosion in the distance in the middle of the road, and a soldier in a tank shoots at a horde of zombies approaching. Our hero realizes the virus is spreading severely through the city. He then decides it's better to go back to the hotel and rest a bit. With the plan set, they speed down the road back to the presidential suite, and after a long trip, they finally arrive safely at the hotel. Our protagonist then orders everyone to get ready and rest quickly. The trio then enters their rooms to finally relax a bit. Hidden in the closet, Anna hears the neighbors and gets envious because they can leave freely. She complains she's been trapped all night without food or water and needs to go to the bathroom badly. Desperate, the girl begs for someone to save her because she feels she's going to check out early. The scene then shifts to the next day and it's already 4 in the afternoon. Our protagonist finally wakes up after a long night of work and yawns from exhaustion. Then Xiao Ran calls our hero and points to the window, showing several military vehicles. Our boy then goes to the window to see what was happening in the city. From up there, they can see several army armored vehicles passing down the hotel street. With that, he concludes the city blockade failed and people are already fleeing. Our hero thinks riots are inevitable and everything is happening sooner. He then tells them to eat first and that they will evacuate the city city later if needed. In the apartment next door, Anna hears the conversation and is shocked by the evacuation news. The girl despairs, realizing that if the neighbors leave, she will lose her hope. She laments that the gunshots muffled the zombies' growls and she can't take being trapped anymore. Outside, the trio prepares to leave apartment 801 and start evacuation. The trio then leaves the apartment and starts walking down the hallway in silence. In the closet, Anna despairs and decides she needs to leave there or she'll be alone forever. Meanwhile, the zombie Wong Shu enters the bathroom and ends up bumping into the shower handle. The water then starts falling and the creature gets confused, not understanding what is happening. Anna hears the noise and realizes her transformed friend is busy in the bathroom. Seeing the perfect opportunity, she sprints out of the closet to finally manage an escape. On the way, the girl even manages to grab a blanket to use as a distraction in her escape. The creature hears the noise and peeks through the door to see what is happening in the room. Seeing the girl fleeing, the zombie lets out a scary scream and chases after her full speed. Anna then turns around and throws the blanket hard right on top of the creature to slow it down. With the zombie blinded, she runs desperately out of the apartment, screaming for help. In the hallway, the trio hears the screams and the sound of footsteps approaching rapidly. The blonde girl then appears in the hallway, running toward them in complete desperation, and right behind, the zombie covered by the sheet continues the pursuit down the hall. Anna then bumps into our hero and screams desperately that there's a zombie right there. Our hero then realizes it wasn't a hallucination and the neighbor really turned into a zombie. He asks why she's running from a blind zombie and praises the blonde girl's intelligence. The creature then stands still in the hallway, not understanding anything that was happening. Our boy says they should call the soldiers because the creature is still pretty dangerous. Hankexen then offers to resolve the situation and asks the captain to leave it to her, but he stops her because that would dirty everything up and they might need to return to the hotel. He then suggests the creature throw itself off, and the girls think the idea is great. The blonde girl is shocked and doesn't believe they want the zombie to jump on its own. Without wasting time, Hankexen activates her mental charm skill to control the creature. The zombie is enveloped by a purple aura and falls under the total control of the new member. The controlled creature then turns and starts walking toward the hallway window, and under the lady's control, the creature walks slowly toward its final destination. The blonde girl stands jaw dropped, not believing what she was seeing right in front of her, and without thinking twice, the creature jumps with force and breaks the window glass into 1,000 pieces. The creature's body then falls from the building and hits the ground with a very loud noise. The blonde girl asks what happened and wonders if they control reality with words. Our hero realizes the blonde girl is also very pretty and perfect for his team. He then asks the girl what her profession was before everything happened. Anna replies that she worked as a croupier in the casino of the hotel where they were staying. Our boy then asks her not to move and decides to see if the system recognizes the profession. He then touches her shoulders and activates his authority to form the goddess team. The system starts analyzing the new candidate to see if she fits the requirements. The girl gets enveloped by a golden light while the system finishes the analysis. And successfully, Anna joins the team and doubles everyone's attributes once again. Our hero celebrates because he didn't expect such a specific profession to be recognized. Anna then sees the system screen and is shocked to discover that all members can have a lucky item. Our boy gets excited because her skill is exactly what they needed right now. He says her skills are very powerful and the new member fills the team's lack of weapons. Our hero then runs off and asks the girls to explain everything to Anna. Our protagonist is confused by the sudden rush and doesn't understand what happened. Anna then runs toward her old apartment and barges into the bathroom, and without thinking twice, the girl slams the door shut to have a little privacy. From inside the bathroom, a very loud water noise can be heard by everyone in the hallway. Our protagonist gets embarrassed by the situation, and Xiaoran starts laughing at him. Hankexen then knocks on the door and asks if everything is okay, and Anna answers yes. Inside, the new member finally manages to relieve herself after a whole day trapped. After finishing, the girl goes to the sink to wash her hands and compose herself a bit. She looks in the mirror and doesn't believe she got so strong just by being touched by him, and to her surprise, she realizes she now even has supernatural abilities. To test her new power, she throws one of the cards with all her strength. The card then flies across the room and hits the wall and the bed, causing small explosions. The card then gets stuck in the floor, which cracks from the impact of the powerful attack. Anna is shocked by the power and thinks she wouldn't have been trapped if she had this before. She then sees in the system that if Xiao Yu leaves or kicks her out, she loses the powers. Determined, she decides she will protect the captain and never leave the team to survive. The system notifies that by having more than 3 members they earned a special reward. They receive professional suits that clean and repair themselves alone besides giving skills. Our hero gets happy and says now they don't need to worry about dirtying their clothes. He then calls the girls and says he has a great gift for them. With that, the whole group starts walking down the hotel hallway toward the elevator. A while later, everyone was already wearing the new system professional suits. Xiao Ran praises the outfit and says it doesn't tear no matter how much she pulls the fabric. Hankexen says the suit is perfect for moving and not even high heels get in the way. Anna says she learned new skills with the outfit and that following the captain was the right decision. Our protagonist says good thing it fit and calls everyone to leave there soon. The group then arrives at the elevator to finally go down and leave the hotel for good, but when the door opens, they hear screams of people asking to arrest the receptionist. Down in the lobby, a security guard tries to restrain the zombie receptionist while another guy runs. Our hero thinks this is the perfect time to test Anna's new looting skill, and without wasting time, he throws one of his yellow cards in the creature's direction. The card hits the creature's head dead on and defeats it with a single precise strike. He then realizes the cards can move according to his will. With the creature defeated, a shiny item appears and floats over the zombie's body. The item then flies in our protagonist's direction and enters directly into his chest. And in the system, he discovers the item turned into a sword and was stored in his inventory. With everything resolved, the group enters the car and speeds down the road far from the hotel. Our hero then grabs the new sword to take a look and admires its beauty. Hankexen asks him not to play with the sword inside the car because it's very dangerous. Xiaoran comments that intended she already saw 3 robberies and 5 zombie attacks. Our hero says they need to stock more supplies and increase their strength. A while later, they finally arrive at the city's grain station. The group then gets out of the car and prepares for another round of supply collection. There they find several giant silos full of grain ready to be collected. Our protagonist asks everyone to stay alert because something there doesn't seem right. The girls agree and find it strange the gate is open and without any guards. Our hero then says he'll go ahead and asks the girls to be careful. He then uses his sword to unlock the gate and clear the path for the group. With the gate open, he prepares to investigate what happened inside. On the ground, he finds several bloodstains and bullet casings scattered. He then concludes a big battle happened in that place a short time ago. Suddenly they hear a girl coming from behind one of the warehouses. Our boy calls the girls and runs toward the noise to see what it was, and there they come across a group of soldiers transformed into zombies. The creatures let out a scary roar and show their sharp teeth to the group. Our protagonist concludes they are the aerial reinforcements who didn't understand the virus. The zombies then charge at the group with the intention to attack and bite. Our hero yells for everyone to spread out and prepare for battle. Anna then grabs one of her blue cards and throws it with all her strength. The card then splits into 3 and flies in the direction of the approaching zombies. The cards hit the creatures dead on and stun them for a few seconds. Then she throws her red cards and causes a big explosion on the stunned zombies. The creature's body splits in half and 2 golden coins appear floating in the air. Another zombie then charges at her, but the girl manages to dodge the attack in time. She gets a little annoyed because she'll have to wait for the fight to end to grab the dropped items. At that moment, our hero tests his new sword and realizes it's much better than the axe, and with the new weapon, he defeats several zombies at once without any difficulty. Another golden coin falls and he celebrates the high 30% drop rate. Meanwhile, Hankexen holds back 2 zombies with a baton to protect the group. She then screams for Xiaoran, who comes running to help in the battle taking place. The pink-haired girl then grabs the axe and charges at the creatures with full force. With a single precise hit, the 2 zombies' heads fly through the air, but suddenly a zombie appears and tries to attack Xiaoran from behind by surprise. Anna then throws a card and hits the creature in the head to save her friend from danger. Hankexen seizes the chance and attacks the zombie to push it away from Xiaoran, and to finish, the pink-haired girl lands a full axe swing on the creature's head. Anna asks if the girls are okay, and they thank her for the quick help. She says it was easy, but her red and yellow cards can hurt the team. Our hero then grabs the coins and tells them not to worry about it, and with the items they get a pistol, a box of bullets, and a katana. Everyone gets excited because they even got firearms with the new skill. Our protagonist takes the gun and 50 bullets and leaves the rest for the girls to split. Anna says she has attack and control skills and doesn't need weapons. Hankexen tells Xiaoran to choose first because she needs to secure her combat power. Our hero then hands a katana to Xiaoran and says it suits her. The pink-haired girl gets happy and says if he said it's good then she trusts him. Hankexen then takes the pistol and says it will go well with her mind control. Our boy orders Anna and Kexen to guard the entrance while he grabs the grain. The 2 then guarantee they will take care of everything and ask them to rest. With that, our protagonist and Xiaoran go up the stairs to the grain silo, and without wasting time, our hero uses his axe and breaks the gate chain remains. With the path clear, they open the door and prepare to enter the silo. Inside, they find a giant mountain of rice shining under the sunlight. The pink-haired girl is impressed with the amount and asks if they are going to eat it all. He says alone they can't, but they need more people to survive. Our hero then explains they need to create a base and feed thousands of people. She asks if they can't just take people to look for supplies together. Our boy then sighs and says she doesn't have enough experience yet to understand, and out of patience he tells her to stop arguing and help him grab the grain. Xiao Ran makes a face and complains he's being mysterious again. He then explains people will raid the warehouses and everything will spoil anyway, and without wasting time, the two start using their skills to collect all the rice in the silo. Meanwhile, at the command center, news about casualties wouldn't stop coming. The governor despairs seeing they already lost more than 1,500 soldiers in one day. He laments that he did everything he could, but the city won't hold out much longer, and without hope, he orders a helicopter prepared for his family and for evacuation. An official then informs that his daughter left alone, and the governor is shocked. Furious, he yells that she was reckless and orders them to bring her back immediately. 10 minutes later, a red-haired woman enters the governor's room with some scratches on her face. She asks if her father was looking for her. He then hugs her and asks why she doesn't listen to him, and keeps going out. She then asks what will happen to the 800,000 citizens if they flee. The governor is speechless and doesn't know what to answer his daughter. The lady then asks if they will be able to wear the uniform with a clear conscience. Her father says he knows she is a good police officer, but she is still too young to understand. She then says he can go if he wants, but she will stay in the city to help. He then tries to stop her, but she is stopped by two guards midway. The red-haired girl tells him not to worry because she will leave if everything goes wrong, and with gun in hand, she says no one can stop her as long as she has bullets. The guards then step aside, and she leaves the room determined to keep fighting. The governor then sighs and orders them to take his wife and son first. Suddenly the governor's phone rings, and he prepares to answer the call. He then answers the phone and introduces himself as Go Wei Hoi, waiting for the news, but he is shocked to learn he needs to hold the city at all costs, because reinforcements arrive tomorrow. Not knowing what to do, he stays silent for a while, just listening to orders. He then hangs up the phone and wonders if High Command doesn't want anyone to leave, and concludes that of the 30,000 soldiers, 10,000 will enter the city and the rest will surround the place. With no choice, he orders his men to hold the city and move command to the suburbs. Night then arrives and the moon illuminates the city that is increasingly closer to collapse. Back at the hotel, Xiao Ran celebrates they grabbed 15,000 tons of rice and 10 of wheat. Our hero then pats her head and says she worked hard and deserves to rest. Han Kexen says she will heat up the food and prepare an extra portion for Anna. Our protagonist thinks they need to plant their own grain and need to go to the seed company. Anna then offers to test her massage skills on the captain, and he accepts. The girl then starts giving a relaxing massage to our hero, who enjoys the moment. He then thinks the real challenge will be raising pigs, cows, and sheep at their base. He continues thinking many animals will be wiped out and they need to grab young ones, but suddenly he feels something soft on his back and wonders what that was. Han Kexen then calls everyone to eat, and Anna gets up to go to the dining room. Before leaving, the girl even winks at our hero, who gets embarrassed by the situation. With head in hand, he complains all that was torture for him. The scene then shifts to the next day with the sun shining bright in the city sky. The group then leaves the hotel and comes across an armored car and some soldiers on the street. Our protagonist shows the pass and asks about the city's current situation. The soldier recognizes him as the special envoy and reports that 5,000 reinforcements arrived. Our hero is surprised because this never happened in his past life, and he finds it odd. He then realizes all this is the butterfly effect caused by his time travel, and concludes City Est was the first place have zombies and not just mutants, and that's why High Command is sending so many troops to contain the situation in the city. Han Kexen asks what they will do now, and if they should evacuate the city, but our protagonist says now is the best time to take advantage of the chaos. He explains the troops will control the city and stop zombie hordes. With the plan set, he uses his skill and stores the car in the spatial warehouse. The group then speeds through the city streets, which were increasingly chaotic. On the way, they see several crashed cars and bodies scattered on the street. They then see an army truck stopped in the middle of the street to collect bodies. The soldiers were throwing victims' bodies on top of a pile in the truck. Xiao Ran is terrified by the scene, and our hero says she will get used to it. The pink-haired girl then thinks she called her parents and will pick them up later, but suddenly Suddenly they come across several cars blocking the passage on the road. Hankexen warns there's an accident ahead and they won't be able to pass. To make matters worse, several zombies appear and surround the group's car. Without fear, our protagonist jumps out of the car and prepares for battle. Anna then grabs one of her blue cards and prepares to attack the creatures. She throws the card hard and hits a zombie's head dead on. The creature then falls to the ground and a golden coin flies in Anna's direction. With the coin, she gets a new shotgun for her weapon inventory. Our hero then hits a zombie's head while another lets out a scary roar, and with one more precise hit, he defeats another creature standing in his way. Hankexen then grabs her pistol and shoots non-stop at the zombies approaching. Meanwhile, our protagonist and Xiaoran slash zombies with their swords. Suddenly one of the zombies catches fire and screams in pain in the middle of the road. The creature then falls to the ground and starts twitching while being consumed by flames. Our boy realizes there are several zombies ahead and prepares for battle. He then orders the girls to spread out and asks Xiao Ran to stay close to him. Anna then throws another one of her blue cards in the direction of the zombie horde. The card splits into three and flies at high speed toward the creatures. Next, she throws her red cards and causes a giant explosion in the horde, but because of the power, she ends up falling to the ground exhausted and without strength to get up. Hankexen runs to help and asks if she's okay after the nasty fall. Anna then grabs her new shotgun and says she can't depend only on skills, and without hesitating, she shoots and hits a zombie's head dead on in front of her. She then reloads the weapon and prepares to continue shooting the creatures. With a hail of gunfire, she defeats several zombies at once without any difficulty, but she regrets she only got one coin after defeating 5 creatures. Suddenly more zombies appear and let out a scary roar in the group's direction. Hankexen then starts shooting the creatures to protect her friends from danger. With her perfect aim, she defeats several zombies with precise headshots, but suddenly a crawling zombie manages to grab her leg from behind. The creature then gets up and lets out a scary roar in Hankexen's face. Our protagonist then throws his sword and hits the zombie's head dead on. He then yells for Kexen to watch out for what's in front of her. A bald zombie then appears and prepares to attack the blue-haired lady. Seeing the danger, she activates her skill and paralyzes the creature midway, and under her mental control, the creature stands still unable to move, and to finish, she delivers a spinning kick and drops the creature to the ground. The creature's body then flies through the air after the lady's powerful kick, and to finish, she shoots with her pistol right in the head of the falling zombie. After the battle, she breathes relieved for having managed to get rid of the creatures. With the area clear, Hankexen picks up 3 golden coins and celebrates her luck. On the other side of the road, several zombie bodies were scattered on the ground. Hankexen is impressed seeing our hero defeated 8 zombies alone. Xiao Ran then brags saying she also defeated 2 zombies and it was amazing. Our protagonist then calls everyone to distribute the items they got. Anna says she got a submachine gun and Hankexen grabbed bullets and a katana. Our hero then shows he got a tang sword and 200 bullets for the team. He then offers the swords to the girls and Hankexen chooses the tang sword. With the new weapon in hand, she admires the blade and praises the sword's beauty. Our protagonist then feels a slight cut on his finger and is surprised by the sharpness. Xiao Ran then asks to keep the submachine gun and our hero hands over the weapon. The pink-haired girl then celebrates happily for getting a new weapon. He then hands 150 bullets to Hankexen who was low on ammo. Suddenly an explosion happens and everyone looks startled in the direction of the noise. The governor's daughter then appears and jumps her motorcycle over a crashed car. She then stops the bike with a drift right in front of the group who doesn't understand the situation. The girl asks how they got out and orders them to leave because the place is dangerous. And out of patience, she yells for them to move and not stand in the middle of the road. Our protagonist stays alert seeing the red-haired girl draw her weapon. Suddenly a zombie appears and she prepares to shoot the creature without hesitating. With incredible aim, she starts shooting the zombies approaching them. The bullets hit the creatures' heads dead on and they fall one by one. And with one more precise shot, she defeats the last zombie standing in her way. With all zombies defeated, she turns and points the gun at our protagonist. The girl then asks who they are and where they got those weapons. Our hero then shows the special pass and says they are there on a mission. The governor's daughter then realizes he is the so-called special envoy everyone talks about. She then introduces herself as Go Xiaoxiao, daughter of Governor Go Weihui. The girl explains there are many zombies in the residential area and asks the group for help. Our protagonist thinks it's admirable that the governor's daughter is fighting in the streets, but he says he is on a critical mission and can't help her at the moment. He then says goodbye and advises her to wait for reinforcements before acting. The group then takes off running and leaves the red-haired girl behind on the road. She sighs frustrated for not getting the help she needed for the mission. The lady then grabs the radio and requests immediate reinforcements to the residential area, and without wasting time, she gets on the bike and speeds speeds in the direction of her objective. Our hero then says sports cars are too risky and grabs the armored car. With the new vehicle, they speed through the city streets with more safety. Our boy then orders Kexen to stop at the entrance of the hospital that was on the way. He explains that since they are passing by, they can grab some medical supplies. The armored car then stops in front of the hospital, and they prepare to enter, and Kexen warns that the sound of gunfire is coming from inside the hospital. He says they will raid the pharmacy and cold storage and ignore the rest. The group then parks the armored car in the parking lot and prepares to enter the hospital. Without wasting time, they get out of the vehicle and run toward the entrance. But suddenly a guy is thrown out the window and lands right in front of them. A zombie then jumps from the window and chases the poor guy screaming for help. Both fall hard on the ground, and the creature prepares to attack the man. Without thinking twice, the zombie bites the guy's neck, who screams in pain. Our hero then runs and kicks the creature away, saving the man from the attack. The creature flies through the air and slides across the floor after the powerful kick, but the zombie gets up and lets out a scary roar, ready to attack again. Our protagonist then grabs his sword and cuts the creature in half with a single strike. With the zombie defeated, he gets a new submachine gun for his team. The wounded man then begs for help and offers $1 million to be saved. Our hero realizes he was infected and will turn zombie in 10 minutes, and without mercy he orders Xiao Ran to end the poor guy's suffering. The girls are shocked by the order and don't believe what he asked. Xiao Ran says he is still human and she can't do that. Our hero explains he's going to turn zombie anyway and it makes no difference. She then asks why not wait for him to turn zombie to get an item. He explains that in the future, if they don't have the guts to do what's needed, they won't survive, and that's why he needs to train his team members to have the courage to fight. Out of patience, he orders Xiao Ran to do what he said immediately, and threatens to kick her off the team if she doesn't obey his order right now. The girls are shocked by the captain's cruelty and the threat he made. With tears in her eyes, Xiao Ran calls for our protagonist, not knowing what to do. Trembling with fear, she raises her gun and prepares to shoot the man. She then closes her eyes and repeats to herself that he is a zombie to manage to shoot. The man begs not to shoot and says he won't turn zombie no matter what. Our hero then shows the transformation signs have already started appearing on him, and out of patience, he yells at Xiao Ran, asking why she hasn't shot yet. With no choice, the pink-haired girl shoots non-stop and ends the man's suffering. His body then falls lifeless on the ground in a pool of blood. Panting, Xiao Ran approaches our protagonist, still in shock over what she did. He then comforts her, saying she did a great job and overcame her limits. The other girls stand in silence watching the scene, not knowing what to say. Our hero then calls everyone to finally enter the hospital and grab supplies. Inside, they find the whole place tossed with papers and blood all over the floor. Our protagonist then goes to the pharmacy to start collecting medicines. He then kicks the door open and enters the room full of shelves with medicines, and decides to let Xiao Ran rest so she can recover from the trauma. Our boy then starts using his skill to collect all the medicines in the place. He then calls the girls to go to the inpatient department pharmacy. There they hear several shots coming from inside the hospital building. A soldier then appears, shooting non-stop at a horde of zombies. The creatures let out a scary roar and charge at the poor guy. Surrounded, the soldiers ask for reinforcements and warn that ammo is running out. Our protagonist then enters the middle of the battle to help the soldiers in danger. One of the soldiers was bitten and is about to turn into a zombie. Our hero warns to wait a bit because that way they can get an item. A soldier yells for his friend to hang in there and not give up now. The infected soldier says he won't make it and knows what happens after the bite, and to protect his friend, he grabs the gun and asks him to survive for both of them. With no choice, the poor guy shoots himself in the chin to not turn into a creature. The soldier then screams in pain, seeing his friend pass away right in front of him. Our protagonist thinks if not for the soldiers, he wouldn't manage to grab supplies. He then approaches and says the fire escape is safe for now. The soldier recognizes him as the special envoy and salutes our hero. He then picks up his friend's body in his arms to take him to a safe place. Our boy warns he's already gone, but the soldier doesn't seem to care, and with tears in his eyes, he says he knows but wants to bury his friend. The soldier then goes down the stairs carrying his friend's body on his back. Suddenly, they hear a growl coming from one of the hallway rooms. Our protagonist concludes the two bitten soldiers have already transformed, and without warning, the two zombie soldiers come out of the room and charge at the group. Anna then shoots and hits the head of one approaching zombie dead on, and Xiao Ran uses her katana and slices off the other zombie's head with a precise strike. With the creature defeated, the pink-haired girl gets an ammo box. Our hero is happy and says the more ammo they have, the better. He then says he's going to the pharmacy and asks the girls to rest a bit, but Xiao Ran stops him and holds his shirt tight so he doesn't go. With a blushing face, she says she wants to go with him to grab the meds. He then agrees and is happy seeing Xiao Ran is recovering. The two then go to the cold storage but don't know where it is. Suddenly they hear screams for help coming from the end of the hall. A doctor runs desperately from a zombie nurse chasing him non-stop. The zombie nurse lets out a scary roar and prepares to attack the doctor, but our protagonist appears in front and stops the creature from advancing. He then pushes the doctor aside and prepares for the coming battle. Our hero then uses his yellow card and throws it hard at the nurse. The card hits the creature's neck dead on and defeats it with a single strike. The nurse's body then falls lifeless on the floor in front of the scared doctor. The doctor thanks him for being saved once again by our protagonist. Our hero then points the sword at him and asks where the cold storage is. A while later, the group arrives at the cold storage door on the second floor. He orders the girls to stand watch and calls Xiao Ran to go with him. The two then start using their skills to collect all the supplies in the place. Meanwhile, a zombie starts punching a door hard trying to open it. The zombie doctor then starts walking down the hallway and banging on all doors. On the other side of the door, a nurse hides, scared of what is happening. Terrified, she huddles in the corner and begs for someone to save her from that nightmare. Suddenly she hears footsteps and wonders if someone is coming to help her. With hope, she decides she needs to get their attention to be found. She then starts banging on the window and screaming desperately for help. But instead of help, she comes face to face with a zombie on the other side of the window. Scared, she trips and falls, sitting on the floor not believing what she saw. The nurse then wonders if the zombie noise scared people away. Determined, she decides she needs to save energy to manage to save herself. She then looks at some sheets on top of the boxes and gets an idea. With a plan in mind, she smiles and prepares to put her idea into practice. She then ties the sheets to create a rope and flee through the window. The girl then ties the rope to the window and tests it to see if it holds. Satisfied, she praises the rope's strength and prepares to go down. With the rope in hand, she throws it out the window and prepares for the escape. Relieved, she celebrates being only on the second floor and that it will be easy. Carefully, she starts descending the makeshift rope outside the hospital. She then manages to land on the ground without a scratch and prepares to run. Relieved, the nurse celebrates finally managing to escape the hospital. But soon she despairs because she doesn't know anyone and the city is locked down. Suddenly the lady hears a noise and hides behind a bush in fear. Seeing the zombies, she decides she needs to get out of there as fast as she can. With a plan in mind, she runs behind the trees to reach the police car. The nurse realizes she has no other choice and decides to take the car to flee. But to her bad luck, the car door was locked and she can't open it. At that moment, she sees our hero's armored car approaching and gets confused. Without thinking twice, the lady runs and enters the armored car to save herself from zombies. Inside, she apologizes because she doesn't know whose vehicle she just took, but the nurse promises that if she has the chance, she will apologize to the owner. With adrenaline pumping, she floors the gas pedal to flee out of there fast. The armored car then speeds down the street, leaving zombies and hospital behind. Meanwhile, our hero says it's time to go because reinforcements will arrive soon. Hankexen tells that zombies were banging on a door where a woman asked for help but they ignored her. Our hero says they did right, but since he is there, now they will solve this quick. Without wasting time, he runs and charges at the creature with his sword in hand. With the zombie on the floor, a lucky coin appears and transforms into an experience orb. The system explains the orb increases skill levels and he gets pretty excited with the news. He then turns to the girls and wonders who he should give the item to. The screen shows that Hankexen and Xiao Ran and Anna's skills are still at level 1. Our boy thinks he can't use it since he shares their skills but not the other way around. He then decides priority is stocking supplies so Xiao Ran will get the orb. Our protagonist hands the item to the pink-haired girl and tells her to crush it. The lady grabs the orb and breaks it with her hands, releasing a large golden energy. With that, a power aura completely envelopes Xiao Ran's body, absorbing the energy. Our hero then asks if her skill managed to level up with the orb power. She says no, but her experience increased by 10% and now needs 90 more. He understands and tells Kexen and Anna to give all next orbs to Xiao Ran. The two girls then agree with the captain's decision and say they understood everything. Our hero then remembers the woman asking for help and says for them to go check on her. He then knocks on the door and asks if anyone is in there needing help. No answer. Our protagonist doesn't think twice and kicks the door down. Inside, they find the room empty and a sheet rope hanging from the window. Our boy then praises the woman's intelligence for managing to escape like that, but suddenly he realizes something and is shocked by the possibility he thought of. Without wasting time, he yells for the girls to follow him and runs out of the room. The group then goes down the stairs and runs out of the hospital as fast as they can. With a scowl, our hero gets furious and says he doesn't believe it. He then sees the spot where the armored car was and yells, asking who stole his vehicle. Anna tries to calm the captain and reminds him they still have other vehicles to use, but Xiao Ran whispers that the sports car took up too much space, so it stayed at the hotel. Hankexen then takes the blame and apologizes because she forgot to lock the armored car and explains that with all the confusion earlier, she forgot to grab the vehicle keys. Our hero sighs and says he can't blame Hankexen because everyone messes up in emergencies. He then comforts the blue-haired lady and says worst case they take bicycles. Blushing, Han Kexin thanks the captain for the support and not scolding her. Suddenly several army jeeps appear on the street and our hero gets an idea. The soldiers then get out of the jeeps and prepare to enter the hospital. They run toward the entrance to help other soldiers trapped inside. Our protagonist realizes they are the reinforcements the earlier soldier had called. Without wasting time, he approaches one of the soldiers and says he needs to take one of the jeeps. The soldier is surprised, but our hero shows his special envoy pass to him. After speaking on the radio, the soldier agrees and releases the vehicle for our group. The soldier then salutes and tells the special envoy to take the jeep for the mission. With a smile on his face, our hero calls the girls to get in the new vehicle. With the new transport, the group speeds down the street, leaving the hospital behind for good. Xiaoran enjoys the wind and celebrates that now they are cruising in a jeep through the city. But the joy is short-lived and our hero sees a zombie and orders Kexin to run it over without mercy. Han Kexin floors the gas pedal without thinking twice to run over the creature. The jeep then hits the zombie dead-on and throws the creature up with the impact. And to finish, the lady runs over the creature with the wheel to make sure. With the creature defeated, they get a shield and he asks if anyone wants the item. He thinks the shield hinders mobility and decides to keep it for later if needed. Our hero says that the seed company Anna and Kexin keep watch and he and Xiaoran go in. The two then agree excitedly with the plan and say they will handle everything outside. Meanwhile, in another part of the city, the sky was getting increasingly cloudy and gloomy. The nurse who fled the hospital was now driving the armored car through empty city streets. Inside, she complains she is lost and almost got stopped by a military vehicle earlier. Scared, she decides it's best to go to the suburbs because the city is too dangerous. With the plan in mind, the lady speeds down the road away from the city center. On the way, she spots a bridge and recognizes the Jinnu Hotel nearby. Excited, she realizes the hotel is a natural barrier and decides to shelter there for a while. But she remembers the bridge must be guarded by soldiers and she can't pass like that. The nurse then parks the armored car on the roadside so as not to get caught by soldiers. She then gets out and says now nobody takes the armored car and it will be her salvation. Thinking she is very clever, the lady runs across the bridge toward her final destination. Meanwhile, at the governor's temporary command center in the southern suburbs, the governor looks at the soldiers and laments that they really are going to close city S. He thinks 5,000 more soldiers arrived but only 2,000 entered and the rest closed exits. Looking at the burning city, he laments but understands the situation is quite grave. An official runs in and warns the granary was robbed and soldiers turned into zombies. Shocked, the governor yells and asks how much grain was lost in the zombie attack. The official replies everything was taken and not a single grain was left in the granary. Furious, he yells it was over 20,000 tons and wonders who took it all. He then remembers the same went down at slaughterhouses and there is a hidden force acting. He then tries to calm down and says they cannot panic over the situation. He orders strategic reserve supplies activated and people gathered at night. He orders reserve food transported to command center and the official agrees. And with a confident tone, he says he doesn't believe anyone would have the guts to steal there. Back in the jeep, our hero says everyone worked hard and deserves a good rest. He then realizes the only missing supplies are fuel and young animals. Suddenly they spot an armored car stopped in the middle of the road and are surprised. Our protagonist then yells to stop the jeep because he recognized the vehicle. He then gets down and starts inspecting the armored car to make sure it is his. And with a scowl, he confirms that was his stolen vehicle. He then tries to open the door but realizes the thief still had the audacity to lock it. Xiaoran complains the thief parked the armored car right in front of their hotel. Han Kexin then suggests they put a tracker on the vehicle to catch the thief. Our hero says priority is grabbing supplies, but if they catch the thief that's fine. The next day the sky was starry and the moon illuminated the increasingly chaotic city. Outside the hotel several refugees set up tents to shelter from zombies. Our protagonist observes the scene from the window and thinks if the virus spreads there it will be chaos. He then concludes zombies can't swim, and if the island is taken they will be surrounded. And he decides they need to leave the hotel a day or two before the total outbreak happens. Outside the night continues peaceful in the refugee camp that formed. In the tent a woman tells the nurse that if she were pretty the hotel man would accept them. The nurse smiles and explains it's not that simple, and they wouldn't let her stay for free. She thinks the woman wants to kick her out to keep the tent, and she is not stupid. The other woman then smiles and says it's no big deal, and things are just like that. Not wanting to chat anymore, the nurse says she's going to sleep because it's too late to talk. Seeing the girl's attitude, the other woman makes a sour face and gets very annoyed. With 5 days left until total outbreak, the group speeds through the city in their military jeep. Our protagonist then says today's mission is to completely empty the mall. On the way, they come across an army truck loaded with grain, and the truck bed was completely full of shiny yellow grain. Our hero is confused and wonders where the food came from since they emptied the granaries. He then orders Han Kexin to stop the truck and she agrees with the captain's order. With a very risky maneuver, the lady throws the jeep in front of the truck to block it. Our protagonist then shows his pass and asks where the soldier was coming from. The soldier salutes and informs the grains are from the strategic reserve warehouse. Our hero gets excited because he never thought of the reserve, and there must be lots of resources there. He asks where it is, and the soldier says the command center is full and there won't be more deliveries. With a smile on his face, he tells the soldier to proceed and thinks this is the perfect opportunity. With the address in hand, he says they aren't going to the mall because a treasure awaits. Night then arrives and the group returns to the hotel after a long day of work. Our hero celebrates the haul was huge and they can end the day early. The girls celebrate they got salt, diesel fuel, and even meds for the team. He feels a little guilty about the army but thinks supplies would spoil. Han Kexin then reminds they forgot to put the tracker on the armored car. Under the vehicle, Anna places the small tracker carefully not to get caught. She then shows her phone and says the tracker will work if not too far away. Our protagonist says he will leave Anna keeping an eye and it's time to go back to rest. Meanwhile at the reserve warehouse, soldiers stood guard with floodlights on. At the command center, the governor looks at the map and realizes the virus spread everywhere. He then concludes this is the end of the world and the situation cannot be controlled. Without hope, he decides he needs to evacuate and grabs the phone to ask for instructions. He then calls High Command to receive new orders about the situation in the city. Angrily, he slams the phone and says High Command ordered them to hold position, and realizes High Command already abandoned City S and they were left behind. With no choice, he orders his daughter Xiaoxiao called back to the command center. The red-haired girl then arrives at the command center escorted by 2 guards. She says if her father is going to ask her to evacuate, better not even start talking. He then begs her not to go out anymore and stay to protect her mother and brother. The lady then stays silent and listens to what her father has to say about the situation. The governor explains the disaster can no longer be controlled and everyone is in danger, and asks her to stay with the family and have no mercy on anyone who transforms. He then warns if he transforms first, the guards will take care of him without hesitation. The girl agrees and thinks if she can't protect her family, how will she protect others? Determined, she salutes and promises she will take care of her mother and brother. The scene then shifts to the 6th day of the apocalypse with the sun shining bright in the sky. With 4 days left until total outbreak, the group speeds through the city with their jeep. Our hero then asks if everyone is ready because the mission is emptying the mall. Han Kexin then warns the captain there seems to be something happening ahead. Suddenly several cars run the police blockade and speed down the street. With a megaphone, a soldier yells to stop the cars or they will open fire without hesitation, but the cars ignore the warning and one of them almost hits our group's jeep. Our protagonist then yells for Han Kexin to dodge the car immediately. With a quick maneuver, the lady manages to dodge the car and avoid the crash. The cars then continue fleeing at high speed down the road searching for an exit. Our hero realizes now it is too late and the army won't let anyone leave. A soldier in a tank orders cars to return immediately or face consequences. With no choice, the soldier yells to open fire and starts shooting at the fleeing cars. With the explosion, the cars flip and catch fire in the middle of the road blocking passage. Our hero then tells Kexin to keep driving because he has an escape plan. He thinks he already hid 2 speedboats behind the hotel and will use them to flee. Suddenly a soldier in a tank flees from a horde of zombies in the street. Our protagonist then yells for Han Kexin to break the jeep so as not to run anyone over. The soldier then screams in terror as zombies grab him and start attacking. Our hero realizes there are over 20 zombies and it is the perfect chance to train. He then orders everyone out of the jeep and prepare for the battle about to start. Our protagonist then grabs one of his red cards and prepares to attack. With a single attack, he causes a giant explosion and defeats several zombies at once. Anna realizes there are more zombies on the other side and prepares to help in battle. With her card, she also causes a giant explosion and defeats approaching creatures. The remaining zombies let out a scary roar and charge at our group. With a smile, he grabs his yellow card and prepares for the final attack. He then throws the card hard in the direction of the zombie horde in front of him, and with a single strike, the card hits all zombies' heads at once. On the other side, the girls start shooting non-stop at zombies approaching them. With a hail of gunfire, the two manage to defeat several creatures at once. Our hero then orders Xiao Ran to save bullets and prepare for combat. The zombies then approach and our protagonist prepares for the coming battle. With a quick movement, he uses his sword to slice zombies in front. With a single strike, he manages to cut them all in half without any difficulty. And with one more precise attack, he defeats the last creatures standing in his way. He thinks with his tripled attributes it isn't hard to defeat slow zombies. Xiaoran then charges at a zombie and hits its head with her sword. Anna shoots a zombie in the head and defeats it with a single precise shot. Hankexen then grabs her pistol and shoots non-stop at zombies approaching her. Our hero then charges at remaining creatures and chops them to pieces with his sword. The zombie's body then splits into several pieces after our hero's powerful attack. With all zombies defeated, our protagonist sighs relieved and says the area is clean. The soldier then coughs and with his last strength asks them to kill him and end his suffering. With face full of blood he begs to be killed and end his pain. Our hero then orders Hankexen and Anna to end the poor guy's suffering. With the situation resolved, they return to the jeep and speed down the empty city street. Our protagonist then decides to check rewards they got in battle. With 9 lucky coins he is surprised and prepares to open items. He gets 300 bullets, a katana, a shield, and even an experience orb for the team. He gets excited because he didn't expect to get a silencer for his new gun. He then splits items and gives the orb and half the bullets to Xiaoran. The group then arrives at City S Mall and prepares for another round of collections. They realize the mall wasn't looted because of the armored steel door. With a smile he says he will test if the door is stronger than his sword. With a single precise strike he manages to cut the door and open a path for the group. He then kicks the metal piece and opens passage for them to enter the mall. Xiaoran asks why they don't take the whole door and our hero says he explains later. With the path clear they enter with a truck to grab all supplies in the place. He explains with the entrance blocked they can grab everything in peace and without worries. The girls praise our protagonist's intelligence and are happy with the plan. He then says he will give system storage access to Anna and Hankexen. With a smile he says the two can grab whatever they want in the mall. The two then thank him excitedly and celebrate they will be able to fill the warehouse. Xiaoran also gets excited and says it's her time to show her collection skills. He then tells Xiaoran to go ahead and says he will clear the register for her, and he thinks even in the apocalypse order is needed so the team doesn't lose focus. The group then goes to a lingerie store to grab some pieces for themselves. Inside, Hankexen starts trying on some pieces and admires her reflection, and beside her she peeks at Anna, who is looking for some pieces in her size. She tells Anna that because of her body there are only a few pieces in her size. Anna then says Hankexen must also have trouble finding pieces in her size. Excited she says she will also grab some pieces to use in the future with the captain. Hankexen then says they use combat uniforms and don't need much. Anna agrees and starts using her skill to grab some pieces for her, and with her skill she takes all pieces she can from the store at once. The two then decide to go to the cosmetics store to grab a few more items. The next day the sun shone bright and the sky was clear without a cloud. Outside the hotel, refugees continued in their makeshift tents. In the tent the nurse wakes up sweating and complains it is too hot inside. The woman from before then appears and calls the nurse to follow her and her friends. Her cousin then says he got a hotel room and the lady can stay with them. One of the guys then praises the nurse's beauty and thinks of luring her to the room. The cousin then says if not for him the girl couldn't stay at the hotel. The nurse finds the woman's attitude strange and realizes the tattooed guy is no good. She then thanks kindness but says she prefers staying in the tent for now. The guy gets furious and orders his friends to grab the girl by force to take her. The three then charge at the nurse who screams and asks what they are doing, and without thinking twice they grab her arm and pull her out of the tent. One of the guys orders her to behave and the girl screams desperately for help. Other people in the camp just observe the scene in silence doing nothing. The nurse despairs realizing no one will help her get out of there. She thinks in the apocalypse nobody helps nobody and she can only count on herself. Suddenly the girl has a brilliant idea and decides to put her plan into practice. She then says she will walk alone and asks them to let go because they are hurting. The guy tells her to be obedient and promises nothing bad will happen to her. He then takes her to the hotel room to enjoy the air conditioning together. The nurse then trips and falls to her knees on the floor on purpose for her plan. With tears in eyes she complains her legs are weak because of them, and without them noticing she grabs a handful of sand from the ground to use as a weapon. Desperate she begs for help and prepares for her surprise counterattack. The guy then approaches and says he will help her get up from the floor. With a quick movement she throws sand hard into the three guys' eyes. The three then scream in pain and complain sand hurt their eyes. With the perfect distraction the nurse sprints away and finally manages to escape the guys. Furious the guy yells for his friends to catch her and says he will end her. The two then run after the nurse, who flees desperately through the camp. With no exit, the lady runs toward the river to try escaping her pursuers, and without thinking twice the nurse jumps hard into the water to flee the guys. The two then jump in water too and continue pursuing the girl without giving up. She then starts swimming as fast as she can to get away from her pursuers. In the middle of the water, the lady finds a boat and climbs on it to finally escape. The guys yell for her not to run and continue swimming toward the nurse. With paddle in hand, the girl starts paddling away from there as fast as she can. Relieved, the nurse reaches the other bank and runs to a safe place. On the street, she finds a truck and two soldiers and runs to ask for help. Desperate, she begs for help and says some bad guys were trying to hurt her, but to her bad luck, the soldier turns around and transforms into a zombie right in front of her. Scared, the nurse falls to the ground and crawls away from the approaching creature. The infected soldier begs for help and asks friend to end his suffering. Without courage, the soldier says he can't do that and needs to find a way. He then starts looking for a rope to tie friend, but it is already too late. The creature then lets out a scary roar and charges at his friend without thinking. Without chance to react, the soldier is bitten on neck and screams in pain from attack. With gun in hand, he shoots zombie in head to get rid of creature. Shocked with what happened, the soldier stays silent for a while, just observing. The nurse then realizes soldier was bitten and will turn into zombie. He then orders her to flee and hide in lake because the place is no longer safe. With gun in hand, he prepares to sacrifice himself and asks for reinforcements sent. And without thinking twice, the soldier shoots his own head to not turn into creature. The nurse then observes the two bodies on ground in complete silence, and scared, with tears in eyes, she cries and wonders if a safe place still exists in the world. But amidst despair, she remembers she still has the armored car she stole earlier. With new hope, the nurse runs toward armored car to continue her escape. Meanwhile, the nurse huddles in dark, thinking how terrible the world became. With that in mind, she accelerates with armored car through empty city streets seeking direction. On the way, she finds a zombie attacking a poor guy begging for help. Terrified by scene, nurse stays silent, not knowing what to do to help. Without thinking twice, the lady turns wheel to dodge creature and flee there. The armored car then dodges scene and speeds down road, leaving poor guy behind. With tears in eyes, she laments, turning into someone who ignores the dying to survive. But amidst despair, armored car dashboard starts beeping and showing out of gas. Without fuel, vehicle starts losing speed and stops slowly in middle of street. The nurse then panics because she doesn't believe she ran out of fuel now. To make matters worse, some zombies appear and start banging on armored car window. The creatures then start shaking vehicle hard, trying to enter and get the lady. With no exit, girl huddles in seat thinking she is trapped again, and it is her end. Meanwhile, at hotel, Anna checks phone and warns stolen armored car left Jinhu. She then shows phone and celebrates now they can finally find thief. Our hero then asks Anna where vehicle was going. She shows map and says armored car is stopped near a pharmacy. With a smile, he says timing is perfect and calls girls to go with him. The group then accelerates with jeep and arrives at location where armored car was stopped. He realizes thief is trapped inside and there are zombies blocking exit. Our protagonist then orders Anna to clear area and she agrees with order. With her shotgun, she shoots hard and hits a zombie's back dead on. And with one more precise shot, she defeats last creature standing in her way. With area clear, our hero knocks on armored car door to call thief. Door then opens and nurse comes out of vehicle scared by situation. The lady then leans on armored car and thanks for being saved once more. Ashamed, nurse thanks for help and keeps head down, not knowing what to say. Our boy gets impressed by her beauty and thinks system will like her. He then asks her name and what she does, already thinking of system standards. The nurse panics, realizing armored car owner returned to take vehicle. She apologizes and says her name is Lu Tingting and she is a nurse. Our hero then lifts girl's head to take a look at her face. With blushing face, nurse gets embarrassed by our protagonist's attitude. He then celebrates catching a car thief and still getting a goddess nurse. Without wasting time, he touches her and activates system to start new candidate analysis. Successfully, nurse enters team with score of 96. He celebrates now his attributes increased by 8 times and girls by 4. He then checks skills and sees everyone's recovery speed increased 5 times. With new skill, team can restore 100% stamina and spirit. He thinks with new member, team combat power increased a lot. With a malicious smile, he celebrates hitting jackpot with new member. The nurse then feels force entering body and doesn't understand situation. System warns if captain leaves or kicks her out, she loses all powers. Confused, she asks what is happening and who is called captain she saw on screen. With finger snap, our hero introduces himself and says he is team captain. Suddenly, he takes her powers and nurse gets confused, not understanding what happened. He then says since she stole his vehicle, she needs to pay price for her mistake. With a smile, smile he warns if she returns to team it depends on her performance. He then calls girls to empty pharmacy and they agree excitedly. He then orders nurse to wait inside armored car while he refuels vehicle. The lady then stays silent observing group walk away to pharmacy. He thinks this will be a test, and if she does well he brings her back. A few minutes later group had already emptied pharmacy and filled armored car. The nurse then sits on floor and gets happy seeing Captain returning to vehicle. But he ignores her and tells girls they are invading another mall now. With new plan group enters armored car and speeds down street searching for more supplies. He realizes with nurse healing he doesn't even feel tired after looting pharmacy. They then arrive at new mall and prepare for another round of collections. Group then enters place and starts walking through empty mall corridors. But suddenly a guy appears running with gun in hand and surprises our protagonist. Without thinking twice our hero uses mental charm skill to control guy. The man becomes completely hypnotized and stops mid-way unable to move. Our protagonist then orders Han Kexin to finish guy but she gets confused. Under mental control Maid asks why he wants her to kill him without reason. Our hero then explains it is because he is holding a gun and that is dangerous. The lady says she doesn't think reason fair and he might have found gun by luck. Our protagonist says there is also chance he stole from soldier he eliminated. He then yells and asks if she would risk life for possible killer. Han Kexin then agrees with Captain and thinks he could have attacked them. Determined she grabs her gun and says Captain's orders are never wrong, and without hesitating lady shoots hard right in controlled guy's head. Our hero then praises good work and calls everyone to continue mission. Group then walks away leaving guy's body stretched on mall floor. Suddenly Xiao Ran calls Kexin and points to fallen soldier body on floor, and in poor guy's back there was knife stuck showing he was attacked from behind. Han Kexin says Captain was right and he explains only suspected because of blood on clothes. Girls then admire our protagonist's intelligence and insight. After long day of collections group speeds through city in their armored car. Nurse celebrates collection speed increased and they emptied 2 malls. Our hero says with healing things get easier, but there won't be safe collections anymore. Nurse asks if they are going to hotel and our protagonist confirms info. He then says their base is set up in Genhu Hotel Presidential Suite. The lady warns hotel is no longer safe and entrance soldiers turn zombies. He laments loss of 4 soldiers guarding gate who are now gone. Anna then asks why nurse fled resettlement point which was safe. She explains woman she was with tried to trick her and she needed to flee there. She then apologizes for stealing armored car and says she had no other choice. Our hero thinks in times like these surviving is everything and stealing isn't so bad. He then concludes hotel guys are problem and needs to deal with them. With plan in mind he speeds down road and says time to change rhythm of things. Group then arrives at hotel and prepares for nurse rescue mission. Our hero says he checked cameras and guys are in room 609. The two then go to room and prepare to bust door and enter. Without thinking twice our protagonist kicks door hard and busts it. One of the guys then yells asking who they are and what they are doing there, but before he finishes sentence Han Kexin attacks him with her sword. Guy's body then falls to floor and woman with him gets shocked. Our hero then praises her attitude and says that is mentality he wants in team. Woman then screams desperately for help and calls other room guys. Our protagonist grabs gun and thinks need to be careful not to finish them. Outside several shots can be heard and guys scream in pain. Leader then begs for forgiveness and says fault was all his and shouldn't have messed with nurse. Our hero then calls Anne and orders her to finish Guy to prove worth. With shotgun in hand lady says she can do this and is ready to shoot. Guy begs for life but Anna shoots hard and ends his suffering. With single shot girl finishes Guy and shows she is worthy of being on team. Guy's body then falls to floor and Anna observes damage she did. Panting she says at least test finally ended and she passed successfully. Our hero then turns to nurse and says now is her turn to be tested. He then hands sword to lady and says he added her back to team. On floor 7 survivors beg for forgiveness and say fault was leaders. Woman then kneels and begs nurse to forgive mistake she made. Our protagonist then gives chance for nurse to finish everyone and become official member. He explains didn't give her gun as punishment for stealing armored car. She thinks because she is weak ended up trapped and fleeing dangers all time. Determined not to lose chance nurse prepares to finish them all. With sword in hand lady prepares and attacks all survivors without mercy. Outside our hero hears screams and battle noises going on. After a while nurse exits room and group prepares to leave. Our protagonist then hears noise and realizes someone still alive inside. He then smiles and realizes nurse is learning to survive apocalypse. With blood-stained face lady calls captain and smiles for passing test. He says she didn't do bad and now is official member of our hero's team. Nurse then takes shower to wash off all blood and dirt from body. She relaxes in hot water and tries to forget horror witnessed that day. One of girls then tells her to throw away old clothes and wear team uniform. She then wonders why captain would have nurse uniform and finds situation strange. With blushing face lady wonders if captain has some kind of taste for uniforms. With no choice she decides need to follow captain's orders not to get kicked out. She then changes and thinks can't annoy captain again no matter matter what. With new clothes, Nurse looks in mirror and admires new look. She realizes clothes have magical properties and she gained new skills. Nurse then exits bathroom and goes to living room to talk to Captain. She thanks opportunity and says we'll listen to everything he says and do what he asks. Happy Lady celebrates finally not alone anymore and now has team. A temporary command center night was hectic with constant attacks. Governor's daughter then checks news and realizes situation worsening. She hears roar and shots and realizes one more guard just turned zombie. Outside soldiers get rid of zombie but 2 end up attacked. She thinks there is no warning and anyone can turn zombie anytime. Lady then calls friend and warns city abandoned and needs to flee, and says if friend has chance needs to flee because it is end of world. Friend asks about her but girl says can't leave city being governor's daughter. Suddenly roar catches her attention and call drops mid-conversation. Room door then busted and zombie enters hard ready to attack. Creature then rips shirt and lets out scary roar in girl's direction. Her mother then appears and recognizes creature being her son and girl's brother. Mother then gets terrified and covers mouth disbelieving what was happening. Creature then charges at 2 but governor's daughter prepares to shoot. She then orders mother to close eyes and prepares to end brother's suffering. With no choice girl shoots hard right and transform brother's head. Zombie's body then falls to floor and mother hugs daughter in complete despair. With tears in eyes red-haired girl laments loss of brother. In his room governor laments loss of son and tragedy that befell family. He then wonders if luck or bad luck daughter managed to finish brother. Suddenly phone starts ringing and governor prepares to answer call. He then answers phone and asks city's command to answer call. On other end he receives news about city's current situation. Furious he slams phone and complains 15,000 soldiers went to other cities. Not knowing what to do he calls official to room to receive new orders. Official informs only 4,400 combatants left and little ammo. Governor then orders all retired veterans called to fight immediately. Official warns bringing families to command will be big security risk. Governor says knows that but without families no veteran will accept fighting. He then orders command isolated from quarters with sandbags to avoid contagion. He thinks that way at least command team can evacuate in time if needed. Meanwhile in luxury building governor's daughter friend prepares to flee. She looks at burning city and prepares to put escape plan into practice. Lady then checks phone and thinks if Xiaoxia said it is apocalypse she must be right. Worried she wonders why parents not answering her calls. In residence chat she sees everyone planning to flee city together. She thinks with many people trying to flee maybe they pass soldiers. With plan in mind Lady goes to garage to choose vehicle for escape. She then presses elevator button and prepares to go down to building garage. Down there garage door opens and she finds several luxury cars and bikes. Woman then admires vehicles and prepares to choose best for escape. She decides bike's easier to maneuver and will invade bridge with one. Next morning group speeds through city in armored car searching for more supplies. Our hero says first mission is Hanhui warehouse and need to empty several today. They then arrive at warehouse and prepare for another round of supply collections. Group then gets out of armored car and runs toward warehouse entrance. Our protagonist gets surprised seeing someone arrived at warehouse first. Inside some guy's loaded truck with warehouse supplies. Suddenly one guy trips and almost falls to floor with weight of food sack. With weapons in hand group appears and surprises guys robbing place. With scary face guy's leader says supplies are his and nobody steals. Our hero then grabs gun and orders them to beat it because supplies are his. Scared guys run away and enter truck to flee warehouse. They then accelerate with truck leaving group and supplies behind. Our protagonist thinks can't waste time with small losses and follows plan. He then calls Xiaoran and Nurse to start collecting supplies. He orders Nurse to stay near Xiaoran and use skill if she gets tired, and orders Anna and Kexen to stay watch as usual to protect group. They then go to another warehouse and prepare for another round of collections. Inside one guy uses similar skill and starts taking supplies. Tired he complains shelves are much bigger and it will be dragged to grab everything. He then decides to test Nurse new healing skill to recover. With finger snap green ore envelopes him and starts restoring energy. He celebrates skill really works and feeling is amazing. He thinks since shares skills can use healing on himself without problems. Xiao Ran then thanks Nurse for healing and says tiredness gone completely. Our hero then realizes with healing can restore infinitely and have limitless stamina, and he concludes can turn entire team into perpetual motion machines. With smile he offers to heal Nurse and she thanks kindness. Xiao Ran then hugs our protagonist and asks if he can restore her too. He then says back to work because still need to empty Wolma Mall warehouse. Back in armored car they speed through increasingly chaotic city streets. Zombies then surround vehicle and start banging on glass to try entering. Our hero says to reach warehouse need to pass through city center. One zombie then climbs on armored car hood and starts banging on glass hard. With armored car surrounded group needs to exit and fight zombie horde on street. Seeing approaching creatures our protagonist and Han Kexen gets scared. With no choice he orders everyone out of vehicle and prepare for battle about to start. He thinks can't leave Xiao Ran always by side and she needs to learn to fight. Anna celebrates with new healing, can use skills freely without worry. With her card she causes giant explosion and defeats several zombies at once. Xiao Ran then grabs gun and starts shooting zombies approaching her. With perfect aim she defeats several creatures with precise headshots, but suddenly zombie grabs her from behind and lets out scary roar in face. With strong headbutt, pink-haired girl manages to free herself from creature and move away. Zombie's body then falls to floor and Anna and our hero run to help friend. Anna tells her not to fear and Captain will protect her from danger. On other side, Han Kexen and Nurse start shooting approaching zombies. With hail of gunfire to try to contain horde and protect rest of group. Han Kexen realizes fighting like this very dangerous since have no combat skills. Han Kexen then orders Nurse to stop using gun and grabs sword. She explains can't depend only on guns and need to train combat. Nurse agrees and realizes with sword combat much faster. With new weapon, Han Kexen cuts several zombies at once without difficulty. Nurse also grabs sword and starts cutting zombies approaching her. Together to defeat entire zombie horde and clear area with swords, but suddenly more zombies appear and let out scary roar in group direction. With quick attack our hero cuts heads of zombies in front. Heads then fly through air and creatures' bodies fall lifeless to ground. He then turns and realizes several zombie bodies scattered on street. More zombies then appear and charge at our protagonist hard. With quick movement he cuts zombie head and prepares for next, and with series of attacks defeats all zombies standing in way. He then spins sword and cuts zombie legs to finish later, and with more powerful attack defeats entire zombie horde at once. With all zombies defeated our protagonist's sighs relieved after long battle. He thinks need to focus on refining techniques, not use skills so much. Girls then run toward him and celebrate Captain's incredible skill, but suddenly another zombie horde appears and lets out scary roar on street. Creatures then charge at group intending to attack and bite. Anna says zombie number keeps rising and situation worsening. Our hero says while city doesn't fall an advantage cause can grab items. With war cry orders everyone charge and prepares for another battle. After a while group returns to jeep and speeds down street full of bodies. They pass several zombie bodies scattered on ground after long battle. A soldier then stops jeep and asks if group finished all zombies. He says city needs people and with their strength group can help a lot. Our protagonist then shows pass and soldier recognizes him as special envoy. He then asks how many soldiers still fighting and how long they hold. Soldier says now only 3,800 soldiers left but with veterans 6,200. Our hero thinks 2 days perfect time for final collection and flee, but suddenly roar catches attention of two and they prepare for battle. Without warning soldier starts turning into zombie and screaming in pain and itchiness.